Let me know when we see that live button. I think it's already there. I think we're live. Welcome to the YouTube session. Welcome to this channeling session. I'm Dante Starshine, and we do this every week. You're welcome to join in the Zoom room, which I just forgot. I'll post the link in the Zoom room right before we begin the channeling session. And for that, start with the brief announcements. So there are some people that are interested in continuing the private transmissions, and I'm just curious how everyone else feels about that. If you would like to ask your questions in a more less open space where we're not on YouTube, but it's still a group setting with usually there's like from 3 to 7 or 8 participants. In the past there has been. So I'm continuing to start that up again, but there has to be enough interest. So if you are interested, send me an email or a message on social media somewhere and let me know. Or just comment on the YouTube video, that also works. And they would be by about $22 donation. And yeah, you would get the recording of them as well. So in the past, they were pretty great for those who came, and I'm open to starting them again. And so as well, the other announcement is the channeling course is enrolling. Once there are about 3 or 4 participants, we will pick a launch date, projected November, but it could be sooner. If you have any interest at all in learning how to channel and learn how to do deeper intuitive healing work for yourself and others, then this is an amazing program, and I highly suggest you check out dantestarshine.com and go to the channeling course page. All of the information is there, as well as testimonial videos. And so many people have graduated now and either begun the channel or begun a healing practice or just used it to deepen into whatever they're working with in their lives and expand. And yeah, you can find out the details there and book a session with me if you would like a free consultation to see if it's the right fit. And of course, my private channeling sessions are also online. So all of that's available and more. And oh yeah, the channeled book is out, and that information is also on the website. It's a really an amazing resource. It's over 38 hours of channeling sessions have gone into text to give us a very encompassing way look into how to transform our lives and transform the earth plane. It's called the Guidebook to Living Love on Earth. And yeah, check it out. You can get it for Kindle or paperback. And the sessions that we're now streaming on the chakras are going into the next book. So know that this session will be transcribed and put in the next book, as will potentially, rather, not necessarily all of, but the questions that do relate to the book content may go into the book. So I encourage you, if you'd like, to ask questions that are related to the themes that come up in today's session or related to the chakra system or how we can get in touch with our own energy body in deeper ways, because that will be really great content for what we're going to offer to the world with this new book. And I thank you for co-creating this as well, because these are all co-creations, and none of this would be possible without those who come and listen and participate and make these channeling sessions a reality. So thanks for being here. And let me put the YouTube thing in put the Zoom thing rather in the YouTube box, because I haven't yet done that. And the last thing is to mention that when you aren't speaking, please mute yourself. The best answers you'll receive by asking your questions aloud. And if you don't feel like doing that, you can type them and somebody will read them. Where did this Zoom go? Cool. Okay. All right, so I think that's everything, and then we will begin the session and allow you to enjoy your interaction with them. Hello, and we say good day to you at this moment of your time. We are the Pleiadian Council, and it is a pleasure and honor to establish contact with you once again in this way. We thank you again for allowing these transmissions to take place, as it is a bridge between our realities that allows for both you and ourselves to expand and increase in our connection to Source. So, we extend our gratitude, our unconditional love to you, and before we get to your questions, we continue our transmissions today at this time about your chakra system. We now reach the level of the heart chakra that sits in the center of your chest. This is the center of love, compassion, of healing. It is the center where you connect with others and you are able to feel the energy flow between self and other. It is connected with the color green. Some also connected with the color pink and the color gold. And these colors work on more subtle, refined aspects of the heart, which we will speak about in greater depth later on. The heart chakra connects with the element of air. And it is this flow inward and outward of air that creates the pump in your chest, really. So the heart itself is connected most closely with the lungs and the heart itself. And these two organs interact to create the flow of energy through your body. The lungs take in the oxygen from the air around you, and that oxygen then goes into your blood, through which it is pumped to the rest of your being. Now, an interesting thing to note here is that the heart is connected with this color green, and trees have a similar pumping action that your heart has. It works on a much slower scale, though the trees pump through their root system energy into the earth and back out into the branches of the tree. And the tree then radiates this beautiful green energy. You and the trees are exchanging energy from your heart to the other heart. The trees have been called the lungs of the earth, and this is very much the case. And you would do very well to study how trees interact with each other if you really want to come to more clearly understand the mechanics of the heart itself as well. For the trees are interwoven with their root systems and the mycelium grids that connect across the entire earth plane. So the trees are communicating through this energy, and electromagnetic signals are received and broadcast. There is an intelligence here. In the same way, it is at the level of the heart that you communicate energy with other people around you. Now, the heart allows for you to radiate an aura around you. As this is the center of your energy body, it is also the center of your aura. And in the same way that these trees send out their roots and mycelial grids, your aura has, you could say, tendrils and pathways through which one aura connects with the aura of other individuals. And energy that passes through one, then can radiate out through others. You can see it, for example, in a street performance, where somebody starts to do something, and as one person begins to observe, another person begins to observe, and as the crowd grows, the more the crowd draws. So emotion, attention, energy, all flows out through your world in this way. The more people are attuned to a certain vibration, that energy ripples out. And it is at this heart level that this energy transference takes place. Your heart is constantly exchanging energy around you, or with the world around you, yes. Just as imagine that as you're breathing, you cannot control which molecules you breathe in. If the air has some smoke in it, that smoke disperses into the air and you will inhale some of it. In the same way, emotional frequencies have the same impact. Energy radiates out into the world around you, and you take that energy in. Yet, of course, the depth to which you breathe and bring awareness into the process determines how intensely that affects you. So you cannot stop yourself from being affected by the energy in the world around you, though you can determine to what severity you are affected by it. Your heart now creates a connection between the heart of the channel and the heart of others who are tuned into this. Whenever you direct your attention somewhere, there is that heart-to-heart transference of energy. In this channeling process, the channel is tuning his entire energy field into this higher frequency, this higher aspect of his soul that is us, the Pleiadian Council. And so through that heart connection, this energy then transmits. Some of you, through this, allow yourself as well to tap into your own multidimensional guides, Pleiadian or otherwise. This is how resonance works. And resonance is one of the greatest keys for this heart center, yes. So this is, in a sense, just an introduction. We will go much deeper, as this is one of the more complex chakras in your system. The heart develops at several different stages of life, like all chakras do. Remember the 7-year cycles? So at age 4, the heart chakra is developing very much, as well as after 3 cycles, you come to year 22, and you enter that 7-year cycle of the heart as well. So in the sense, as we move up through the chakra system, you only really get to the deeper development of these higher chakras with more age and experience, though of course there is much at work even from those early years. And so this heart chakra starts to activate when children get to learn how to relate to others. It is when often children start to go into kindergartens and preschools, and rather than just being around their parents, they now have this engagement with others around them. They have to learn principles of sharing. They have to learn principles of caring for other people's feelings. And this has everything to do with that heart level, yes? Then in that young adult life, the heart is connected with one's ability to find oneself. These middle chakras are all in some sense connected to identity. From the solar plexus to the throat. And so the heart being the center This is where this identity is felt in a very deep way. Yet simultaneously, it is also the level at which you can go beyond the identity into that sense of universality. For beyond this being a chakra, within the heart itself is what you could say the divine spark of source. And so we say this now because we distinguish a little bit between the heart chakra and the spiritual heart, which we talk about so much as for this theme of passion. For yes, it is connected with the heart chakra, though the spiritual heart, rather, is the place where you receive that higher transmission of divine knowing from your own higher mind. It's felt first at this emotional level, the feeling of inner knowing, of a magnetic draw in a certain direction, of great encompassing unconditional love, of passion, of joy. This energy you receive in your spiritual heart as a transmission from your higher mind, directing you to what your own path of your highest spiritual evolution really is. And then, yes, the heart chakra is the first place that energy is received and transmit through the rest of your system. And if you act accordingly, all of your other chakras start to download and integrate what that new information is. So the heart is, in the sense, the center of everything. This is where everything connects with everything else. It's where the spirit connects with the human realm. It's where you connect with the vast web of human consciousness. And it's where your own upper chakras connect and align with your lower chakras. This is the center of the divine bridge. So if you imagine even now, the best way to picture your heart chakra is that it is the center of a vast and incredible web. There are spindles and pathways that go out in every single direction from this web or star of light. And it is here through this web, understanding that the web connects you with literally everything else, yet it exists within the very center of your being. You release and surrender into the knowing that all is one thing, and the one thing is within you. And in that sense, you are the whole one thing. And so, yes, as you go beyond the birth into spirit process, otherwise known as death, you do retain this sense of a deep inner knowing that you are one with the entire universe and you can never be separate from it. It is possible through developing your spiritual gifts and following that formula, most importantly, to live with that knowing while still having this individuated experience in the human realm. And that is the goal of so many paths and practices, and ultimately the result of what will become if you apply all of the information that we share with you. Now, again, the heart is deeply, deeply connected with this idea of empathy and compassion. For when you tap into that sense that I am the whole universe, it also comes with the knowing that so is everybody else. It also comes with the knowing that the well-being of any other part of this universe is your own well-being. And as this awakens, you can tune into the frequency of another person and feel their energy as part of your own energy. You can feel their well-being as your well-being. And this deep empathy that emerges from the heart allows you to be very vastly open while still retaining that sense of the individual I am. You expand into the greater I am to encompass love for every single person and being. The heart is ultimately a center of deep, deep understanding, not at an intellectual level, but an understanding at an emotional level. If you can feel the other person emotionally, you can receive them and you can reflect to them this unconditional love of source. When your heart is really attuned and developed, simply by being in the same room as somebody who is aware of it, at least, who tunes into your energy a little bit, you can be, in a sense, a broadcast of this higher energy of unconditional love. You can broadcast that energy from your being and they can receive it. And you don't have to do anything. It simply comes through your own inner connection with unconditional love. And unconditional love, again, is source. So the heart chakra becomes blocked by judgments. When you start to see yourself or other as wrong or bad in any way, you make a separation that blocks that energy channel to flow. It also disconnects you from source. For the heart to be completely open, you must have no judgment. You must be able to see every person, even people who cause harm or pain or destruction in some way, as essentially the same as you. While of course you are not expressing yourselves in the same ways, the same seed of negativity exists within all. If one being expresses that negativity in any way, everyone has the potential to express that. Otherwise, this universal law that all is one and the one is in all could not be true. So by allowing yourself to have this undying compassion, this relentless compassion, this willingness to see everything as serving a role in the bigger picture, you will allow the heart to grow, to expand, and to be completely without judgment. A heart that is without judgment is a very clearly polished mirror. And as you come to meet others, you will reflect to them who they are and where their energy is at so clearly. And you will do it with this immense light of love that allows them to release the judgments they hold about themselves. Now, the heart center is also the one that is the greatest key in humanity's awakening, because so many of you are stuck at the level of solar plexus. You still have not worked out your relationship with power, and obsession for personal power and personal development and expression of self is more important for the majority of people than is these higher ideals of unconditional love. Those of you who are tuned to this material most likely would not be listening to this if you are not attuned already to that frequency of unconditional love. And we simply state that by being here in this reality and following the formula and anchoring more unconditional love here, you're changing the table for all of humanity. You are changing the way that things work and supporting others in releasing their obsession at living from that level of solar plexus and power to coming into this level of the heart where all is one. Now, this feels very threatening for some because to surrender into this idea of unconditional love and empathy and understanding that all is one means letting go of their focus on the things that make them different. And this could be a subject for a much vaster work. What we will say now is, it is important that here to have these two centers balanced and in unison, that you can reconcile this paradox of being both individuated and distinct and all one, all encompassing, part of the same universal sea of energy, all just drops in the cosmic ocean, yet still retaining the essence of the drop, knowing your dropness and knowing your oceanness simultaneously. It is possible. And it is a vast and powerful, exciting journey for you to be able to look at the things that make you different, celebrate them, and also remember the qualities that make you the same. Some qualities that make you, yes, incredibly the same are your basic needs as humans. And remember, these needs include those needs for relationship and self-expression. You all need to own who you are, and you all need to be seen as who you are. And by seeing the vast diversity and remembering within it, all of you are of that same source, it will dissolve the walls you created between yourselves. And it will help you as well to dissolve the walls that you might have created in your own personal life between aspects of your personality or identity and other aspects of it. And we assure you as well that many of you have done this. Many of you think that in some ways you lead double lives. And by opening up about this and processing that idea, you'll come to see that it isn't necessarily true. When you as well dissolve any of the inner walls that you've created between some of your interests and some of your preferences and some of your activities in life and others, you will also dissolve the walls between yourself and others. Bringing this back to the element of air, remember that air always fills a space. Unlike water that needs a container, air goes everywhere. And so this unconditional love literally goes everywhere until you work very, very hard to create a vacuum. That's how hard you have to work to block the flow of love. So if you feel love blocked somewhere, recognize here that the solution is much easier than it is at some of these lower chakra levels where you have to work with the subconscious and conscious minds. Remember that the solar plexus and the heart chakras are conscious. So by working on the way you consciously think every day, you can unlock the heart, and it doesn't need to be hard at all. Slowing down your breath, doing some sort of breathwork activity is very important for the heart. Yes, the slow breath allows you to regulate the flow of energy through your body. Fast, powerful, deep breathing is also useful for releasing blocks to the heart. So if you work with some of these more intensive pranayama activities, Wim Hof being included in these, which is a popular one in your world now, you have to balance that out with the slow, deep, rhythmic breathing, ideally including holding the breath in for some seconds between each breath. This will help you to center yourself and to let the energy flow. So, of course, there will be much more to say about this center as we go on in this and other transmissions, though this is what we would like to begin with for now, and we thank you for receiving it, for anchoring it into your reality. And now, in return, we would like to support you with whatever questions, musings, sharings, and ideas you have for us now at this moment of your time.
Well, we have a question from Jeff inside the chat room.
All right.
It is, in my dream, I had a one-on-one consultation with Daryl Anka, channeling Bashar, in a certain space. After the consultation, I was staying in another room. The next day, I got the news that Daryl had died suddenly. Another customer came and I offered him my channeling advice. Could you explain this dream to me?
In the dream, you were interacting with the Bashar channeled through this particular being. One way that we suggest you interpreting this being is to reflect perhaps the understanding that the channeled being is not the same as the channel. And if you feel a connection with the channeled being, you don't necessarily need the specific channel to open to that connection. The channel will always be present beyond the death of those who channel it. There are, of course, other ways of looking at it, that we would suggest starting with that. Somebody else has something they would like to share.
Hello, Pleiadian Council. This is Christine again.
Hello, welcome.
Hi. Well, can you tell me why I have so frequent nervous breakdowns?
What are you nervous about?
Well, I think it all... I can understand the pattern behind it. I can understand it leads to self-worth issues and doubting that I deserve to, well, create a solo music career or something. Maybe that has to do with it in this case anyway. And they happen, as I told you before, in my close relationships, for example, in my relationship with my boyfriend. And they start when, well, I get nervous because I want to get something done, and I feel I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to continue with my day and to create something or to make space for something, and I feel motivated, and then things feel stuck to me. And also the communication between me and my boyfriend, and it triggers me, and then I get like I only can focus on one point and on nothing else. I get very tight in my head. I can see nothing else, and then everything crumbles to pieces somehow.
Yes. So think of this single pointed focus you're describing as an expression of insistence. Hopefully you're familiar a bit with what we teach about having no insistence on a particular outcome. So what happens here is that you get very excited about something, and as you go on in the process, you start to see the potential of what this project could lead to, and you see different outcomes, and then your mind becomes attached to that outcome. And rather than enjoying the process, your insistence on that outcome, your attachment to that outcome, changes and distorts the energy of passion and excitement into the energy of nervousness and tension.
And also there was time pressure involved, so there wasn't much time, and I thought I needed to get things done before a certain time, and yes, I did not, I don't know, my perception got very tight.
Yes. So time is something that constricts you often when you give yourself these deadlines in your world. And we would say if you can avoid deadlines and not put that pressure on yourself, that's one way of avoiding getting into that pattern of insistence. However, if you have deadlines, we would suggest that you accept the idea of failing.
Mm-hmm.
If you accept the idea of failing, and it's totally okay that you disappoint people and people don't like your performance and that your boyfriend is upset with you, and all of these things could be true, and you get comfortable with that being the reality, then you will notice that suddenly all of that tightness and tension dissolves.
Yeah, it feels lighter already.
Yes, the tightness is resisting what you don't want. But recognize the more you resist what you don't want, the more likely it is that you'll get what you don't want. So understand that anything could happen. In any moment, anything could happen. Even if you follow the formula so perfectly, sometimes unforeseen variables come into place that divert your pathway, and the expectation isn't fulfilled. So this is a place where it does, yes, connect with those ideas of self-esteem that you mentioned, because the inability to accept failure comes from having a very strong sense of self-worth connected to success. So you have to unhook the belief systems that say that only successful people are worthy. Only successful people are deserving. Only successful people are admirable. If you erase those definitions and you, again, open your heart to a universal understanding of every soul who comes to the earth plane succeeds. No soul fails. You come here not to be perfect and polished and present yourself as this fabulous being to the world, even though some of you do, and that's fun. It's great. And all of you can shine in your own ways to the people that resonate with you. Yet that isn't the point. The point is to develop at a soul level. And part of that development is failing. Part of that development is not having your expectations fulfilled. Part of that process is having desires and having to experience the absence of those desires being met, and understanding over time that you can resist your desires and push them further away, or you can accept the process, however long it takes in getting what you want. And as you accept the process, and as you accept all of the possible outcomes, and as you accept the failing, and as you accept people being disappointed in you, and as you accept people not liking you, and as you accept other people yelling at you, and as you accept missing the deadline, and so on and so forth, your whole body can relax, and you can understand whatever happens, I will be okay.
So much. Thank you. Thank you so much for these words. I know they are simple and I feel them right now because my body is feeling lighter. And I want to tell you something. I am staring right now on the animal that is stitched on Dante's shirt.
Yes.
It is an owl.
It is, yes.
So, and I think in my own little word, then my parents are sending me a little sign as a little hello. They are dead, as you know. And also my mother passed away a few days ago, and it was their 44th wedding anniversary this year. And anyway, thank you for this sign. It's great. I'm really glad to see it.
Oh, yes, oh, great. Thanks. You as well.
And I have another little thing. So today I finally come out of a little phase of depression that I had for several days now. And previously there was this nervous breakdown. And so now I'm actually coming out of this. And I turned on my phone again. That was turned off for a couple of days. And I got informed by my by a guy who's taking care of my parents' precious house that they left behind for me, that we have a rat infestation, a real huge rat nest under the shower in the basement, and it's a huge hole, and the only way they can take care of it is to really put smoke bombs inside and to put some betony inside with glass shards and stuff like that. And wow. And I got the news of that right before I start this call with you, right before I joined in this call. And now I just wanted to know what's your take on this. Is there a message for me or something?
Well, the message of this rat totem is to learn how to work through the darkness, to work in the darkness, in the dirt. Yes, the dirt as well, and find what you need there. The rat is adaptable, the rat is clever. While the rat looks through the dirt, the rat knows what it needs and what it doesn't, and has a way of evading situations it doesn't need. So integrate that medicine, that can be helpful. You can also work with these animals at a spiritual level and ask them to leave. Do some ritual work around the home to invite them to go in other ways. If that doesn't work, yes, an extermination procedure might be what is necessary to protect your home.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot for everything you said, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, you are great. Thanks, and love to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello and welcome. Yes.
I would like to ask about the ego. What's the definition of ego?
Ego is identification of self. Self-identification.
And what's it? It is how it is related to heart.
Self-identification is more connected with that solar plexus level. Yet remember that all of the chakras build upon each other. So the air of the heart and the fire of the solar plexus work together. The solar plexus is the foundation for the heart, and without a sense of self, one can't move into that expansion into the all sense of self.
So, so which chakra ego is using?
It is mostly connected with the solar plexus, though it is also connected with the heart. And yes, it is connected with the throat as well, in the sense that it is through the throat that you express that sense of who you are into the world.
And how to distinguish between thoughts or emotion coming from heart and coming from ego? Or...
There's no need to distinguish, because rather there is a need to distinguish, but the origin is not necessarily what matters. It is the quality of energy that matters, because regardless of where these thoughts are coming from, they're occurring within you. Then they're occurring because they are, again, the tip of the iceberg of negative beliefs. So, well, they're the iceberg of beliefs. The thoughts that trouble you, yes, are the tip of the iceberg of negative beliefs. So all you have to distinguish is this thought expanding me? Is it making me feel positive? Or is it contracting me and making me feel narrow, limited, and restricted? Now, here is why this ego concept is so troubling for a lot of you. For example, say this thought aloud inside of yourself many times. I'm so great. 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 I am so great. I'm so great. I'm so great. This thought ought to create an expanding effect. Perhaps if you have negative beliefs, it will remind you that those negative beliefs are there. But this thought and this thought alone expands you. Though you might find that other people aren't so comfortable with somebody walking around saying, I'm so great. And that is another issue in your world, yes? Here's the difference between I'm so great and this other thought. I am better than all those other people. I'm better than all those other people. I'm better than all those other people. You will feel the difference between these two thoughts if you focus on it long enough. It is when the ego gets into this mode of comparison. I am better. I am worse. I am this and they are that and this is better. I am right. They are wrong. This is creating constriction. This is creating the separation. This is creating the limit to the flow of this love that is otherwise all expanding. So ego is only a problem when it is based in comparison, and there is this sense that I am this and you are that. One thing is better and one thing is worse. Otherwise, you need an ego. You need to have a sense of who you are, and you need to have a positive sense of who you are. You need to express it in a positive way. Otherwise, no one else is going to listen to you or value you or believe in you or trust you if you don't take the time and energy and effort to create a positive sense of who you are within yourself. And that is what ego is.
So it makes sense to distinguish between negative and positive ego, right?
Yes. Positive ego being that which reinforces a healthy sense of self. Negative ego being that which separates you from others.
Okay, thank you for that. Last week I was following my passion as much as was possible. And sometimes I was getting lost in my passion. And when I look back, I was doing the activity I was deeply involved in not so effectively. So I wonder what was the benefit of it.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoyed a lot.
So again, remember, part of the formula is that following your passion to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome then leads to lessons of how you can do things better than. So by seeing, okay, I didn't do so effectively, the next time that you do similar activities and get lost in them, you can maybe approach them with different awareness and see if you have different results.
Yes, that's what I was repeating to myself, that
Yes.
As far as I'm in the mode, in the flow, I should be fine.
Yeah.
Everything will be managed by synchronicity, I would say.
Oh yes, most certainly it will be. That's how the formula works.
Yes, and also I was a lot of much more tired this week than before. That I believe it's also linked to using my passion. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks to you as well.
I would like to have 2 more questions regarding the world status. I would like to see if you have any news about the war in Ukraine. How long does it take? Will take? How do you see it now?
This winter will not be looking particularly good.
And what about economy in Europe?
Also not so good.
Okay, and when we may expect the breakdown of the
Spring
currencies?
2023.
And
wait, what was that? The breakdown? Or
yes,
the turn around?
breakdown. And my second question: how
breakdown is this winter, and it'll actually bounce back quickly. It is one of those slingshot effects in which you have to pull yourself into the darkness to move forward into the light. And so you will see that this situation causes many other countries that are struggling to take actions to assure greater infrastructure and protection and sovereignty for their citizens. Also, it will allow for new innovations to take place economically and many things to change. So it is not going to get better quick, but the new challenges are going to lead to new innovations.
And can you speak more in detail how the turnaround will look like?
No.
So I believe there will be new economy set up or some new rules take place.
You'll see when it happens, as you need to see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks to you as well.
I have one question from the YouTube.
All right, yes.
It is from Dasan. His question is, I had asphyia in my childhood growing up. I have been stammering, stuttering, and became a lalliphobia and social phobia. Sometimes the fear of stuttering haunts me. It makes me sad and depressed. Why should I live this? Why should I have experienced this negativity? What is the best solution for me? Thank you.
Every soul has its process of learning and growing and discovering itself. So don't judge your own process. Simply know that if you experienced it, it is part of your evolution, and there are lessons to extract from it that can become positive. So, as for how to deal with this now, recognize the fear of stuttering is really the fear of humiliation. It is the fear of rejection from others. And you can let go of the beliefs and the definitions that you received from those experiences of rejection and of humiliation in the past, and understand that stuttering has nothing to do with your worth. Regardless of this or any other speech impediment, you are just as deserving, just as lovable, just as gifted and talented in the ways that you are gifted and talented as anyone else is. So come to accept yourself, accept the idea of stuttering, accept the idea of imperfection, and recognize that now, as you are with adults again who have developed their heart chakra area, you're not going to experience that intense judgment that is really childish. So affirm to yourself you're a different person than you are today. Recognize the validity of that, and that will help you to release ideas and beliefs and memories that come to you from a different time of your life when you were a different person.
Awesome. I would have a couple of questions for you guys.
Yeah. Then we may have
First,
a couple of answers.
That's awesome. I really have to thank you guys for this interaction. What are some of the best practices to remove judgments from oneself and connect further to the heart? Mostly a bit of context is, I'm noticing I'm in a catalyst area with a person that's very judgmental, and I find it a challenge not to send that energy back, even though at times I can have the mantra of understanding, oh, it's just programming that's happening from within, and knowing that this person watches the news and is regurgitating back, so it's easy to kind of understand that, as well as it's possibly this person also being a victim of all this mental programming that's been happening. But at times I still do find myself having mental arguments with that person.
Yes. Well, you're really on the right track. So keep doing what you're doing, because the opposite of judgment is understanding. And when you create the framework for understanding why a person works the way they work, then you are able to transcend the judgment. Understand as well that anyone given that same conditioning and that same incarnational blueprint would turn out the way they turned out. Understand that they are offering you a mirror of this powerful judging energy and reflecting back to you that, yes, the capacity to judge still exists within you. So open yourself to compassion by feeling how this judging energy that you experience makes you contract. Understand how contracted that person must be, and relax and release into compassion. You'll get to a point in which, when you feel the presence of a judging energy, it's not as threatening anymore, and it becomes slightly humorous and endearing in a way, that you are able to feel how stuck they are and how horrible that must be. And you're also able to find a slight humor in the fact that they never seem to give up.
That's quite true. Oh man, there's always this flip to humor that oftentimes it's one thing I do want to remember even further, always flipping it into an aspect of humor. Would you have any tips for that?
Well, it's the path to enlightenment. Enlightenment is lightening up. So humor is this incredible resource for you, because it takes away the tone of seriousness that is the definitive quality of attachments and insistences. There's always a lightness in humor. A comedian doesn't really care if everyone likes their joke, if it is funny to some people. Humor is there for you to be able to release that tone of seriousness and It isn't to be used in a negative way. Humor can turn you back onto this understanding that everything is exactly as you define it and believe it to be. And so if you see something as so negative and serious, it will become that for you. But if you see it as light and silly and less important, your relationship to it will change. So make jokes with yourself whenever you feel yourself in this great inner resistance to something, simply to remind yourself it isn't so serious. Get to be comfortable channeling the archetype of the clown. For the clown wants to be perceived as goofy and weird and not normal. And so many of you resist being that. And you will find that those of you who have such strong insistences to be perceived a certain way and accepted by everyone will end up being the people who humiliate themselves the most. So the more soon that you become comfortable with the archetype of the clown and embodying that energy, the sooner you will also able to be serious and respectable to those who really resonate with you. And remember that you will only be serious and respectable to those who really resonate with the true you. You will always be a clown to somebody. So you must accept the fact that you are a clown right here and now anyway. And it will be much easier.
Oh, that is super fantastic. Really, thank you. It just hits a bell right there. And I guess one last question, if I may.
Yes.
It would be, would you have a specific mantra or something to remember in the aspect of this kind of repetition? Meaning, at times I would take notes, but oftentimes I wouldn't necessarily even look at those notes, even though there would be, let's say, a month or two later, I would look back at the notes and go, my God, how can I forget this? You know? And there's a progress inside that I feel would happen even further without pushing too much. But I know progress would be better if I took the time to repeat some of these things even further whenever I had the time, but all that in a non-forceful way. So would you have any kind of tip to do it lightheartedly?
A mantra lightheartedly for what specifically?
A mantra, a lighthearted mantra to help with the aspect of repetition in order to become more lighthearted.
All right. Well, we have two ideas. So ultimately, you'll have to adjust this to your own understanding and allow for perhaps new mantras, new affirmations to come from your own higher self. The first that we would suggest is to remember life is but a dream. Life is but a dream. It's a line from one of your children's songs. And it points you back to this awareness that you are really living in a dream. As you return to spirit, you will see the very transient and temporary nature of the human incarnation. And you understand that this is, in a sense, a testing grounds for you to learn and grow and evolve as a soul. And that so many of the things that you become so serious about aren't really that important. The other thing that we would perhaps encourage you to use as an affirmation is simply lighten up. Lighten up. That is the path to enlightenment. So filling your body with light is also the same as lifting out the heavy energies from you. Lighten up. Imagine your cells glowing and vibrating with white light. And that white light also pushes out the denser stuck matters.
Great, thanks. Great, thanks. There's a question that also popped up in the chat.
All right.
Wow. And again, really thank you. I'm processing all of this and just feeling amazed. The question that popped up in the chat is, it's been said that we can track all emotions back into fear or love. Can you comment on that, as well as if it's fair to say that these two emotions are opposite? Thank you.
Yes, this is true. This is one way of looking at it. There are other more refined ways of looking at it that will get developed with time. We would actually say that all emotions are variations on, yes, fear and love. Yet love is the most undistorted emotion. As we share in great detail in our book, the guidebooks Living Love in Earth, everything is love. The fabric of your universe is love. This universe was built upon the intention of unconditional love. And therefore, when you experience love, you are experiencing your true essence. You are experiencing the energy from which you've come and from which all comes. And then, yes, there are many different shades and flavors of fear, of restriction, of energies that hold you back, make you tight. Though fear is the most definitive of all of them, and even this fear has served purposes. For example, note, all animals in your world experience fear. They experience fear when they are threatened by something. And fear is ultimately there to keep you alive, to keep you sustaining yourself. So fear is not necessarily the enemy. Though note this, that if all fear comes from the fear of death and death is an illusion, then fear itself is also an illusion. Fear is very problematic, as you have come to fear so many different potential circumstances in your world, and you fear being perceived a certain way. You fear losing or lacking something that you don't essentially need. You fear other people rejecting you. You fear so many things. And in a sense, some of these fears point back to your animal nature, and some of these fears are learned human adaptations that must be worked with and released. Fears that do, yes, in a sense, point back to your animal nature is this fear of rejection. Because when you were pack animals, or not necessarily you as humans, because you as humans, again, are a created species, that's another story. Anyway, so when your distant ancestors, as primate-like beings, were potentially rejected, that rejection was being outcast from the tribe. And being outcast from the tribe could lead to death. And so the fear of rejection or fear of disapproval still holds that same resonance with this very ancient animal nature. Though, again, all you have to do is remind yourself that you live in a world of 8 billion people, and a world with so many social infrastructures and different ways of sustaining yourself, making a living, and that one person or a group of people not liking you does not in any way mean death, does not in any way mean being cast out, because You're being actually redirected to your true tribe if somebody doesn't like your true self. Now, that's one example. But there are, of course, many other fears, and really between every emotion, sadness, anger, jealousy, envy, resentment, at the core, it is based in fear. And if you really process this, when you're so sad about something, you're afraid you'll never have that same joy and connection again. When you're really angry about something, you're afraid that another person is going to violate you. When you're really envious, you're afraid that you're not going to get the same thing another person has. So we're not saying to throw out those emotions of sadness, anger, envy. We're saying to recognize that within all of those emotions is desire, but fear that I can't have makes that desire something negative and suppressed. So all you have to do is unlock the desire that's inherent within those emotions and work with that desire. Cultivate the sense that if there is a desire, there's a means to fulfill it. And once you really deeply install that belief in your software, if there is a desire, there's a means to fulfill it. Transcending fear will be much easier.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you. I have a question about an experience I had the other day. I was outside and filming the sunrise at my friend's farm in New Jersey, and I saw a blue orb in my footage, in my film, and it was moving quite radically and sporadically and moving around me and in front of me, and seemed to be going in and out of the space and in and out of perception. And I'm wondering if you can give me any insight about this, because I have had this kind of experience before in Hawaii.
Yes, it was, again, one of our ships presenting itself to you, interacting with you.
And thank you. And was that also a similar kind of thing that happened in Hawaii?
Yeah.
It was. Okay. May I have a follow-up question to that?
Oh, of course. As many questions as you'd like.
Thank you. I had an experience when I was in Peru at Sacsayhuaman, where I was taking pictures. I was also taking footage, and I didn't see any colored orbs or energy fields, but I saw a lot of vibrational movement that did pick up in my camera. And when I moved the camera away, I didn't see anything that was visible to the eye. And I'm just curious if that was any kind of energy exchange, or might you help me have some insight about that experience?
Well, yes. Elementals or nature spirits, as well as some beings like ourselves, can bend the electromagnetic spectrum. So not always will this be visible to the naked eye, but it can be picked up with cameras.
Okay. So may I ask, does it matter when it's picked up by a camera, the coloration or the type of activity? Or is there any way I can further connect or exchange with these energies? Or
sometimes you will be able to see symbols within the pictures. Sometimes you will simply be able to feel a frequency emanating from them.
Yes, I did notice that. Yes. Okay.
So the symbols can be subtle communication, subtle signs pointing you in certain directions or reminding you of what those beings want to share with you. As again, oftentimes these beings are tuned to you, so they choose symbols that have a personal meaning.
Okay. That makes absolute sense. Okay, thank you so much, Pleiadian Council. Unconditional love. Thank you.
And our unconditional love to you as well.
I have another question.
No, that will be all for today. Unless there's somebody who has not yet asked any question at all. So let us then conclude with the meditation.
There might be a YouTube question if you're open to it.
Oh, yes, we're open to it, yes.
Okay. This from Elizabeth. Can you please talk about the heart of a business? Thank you.
The heart of a business. Well, it will then be connected to all who are operating the business, including the employees. The heart of the business is the web that is built between all of the hearts involved. And you can say this about the heart of any sort of organization. It is created through, yes, even beyond the employees and the owner, but also the customers. It's about the interchange of energy. So once you create an organization of any nature, it becomes a living thing with its own spirit, and you can connect with that spirit and feel into its energy. Especially those who create it and run it have more of an influence than anyone else on how to direct it, though that isn't always the case. Sometimes you create something and it becomes bigger than you initially thought it would be, and it takes on a life of its own beyond the intentions of those who created it, and that is also okay. That's what we would say for now.
Dante, your mic is distorted. Can you fix it somehow?
Is it really?
This could be a Zoom thing. It seems to happen after an hour 15.
Weird. Is it okay?
It's still doing this thing. Yeah, it could be Zoom or over exertion of the mic, maybe.
It's just a little muffled. Just
What is the thing that it's doing specifically?
it's just kind of muffled.
Yeah.
Maybe I grab the headphones. Where are the headphones? Here they are. Well, 10 people in the Zoom room today. So nice you're all here. Okay, is it still distorted like this?
It's back.
It's better?
Much better.
Yes,
Cool.
you're fine.
It might be, my guess is that the phone itself gets hot or gets like excited over a period of time. I don't know. My theory about it. All right, let us continue then. So, concluding with this meditation by closing your eyes, tuning your awareness inside of your being, taking some gentle breaths in and out. Picture roots of light that grow from your heart down to the center of the earth. And going all the way down to the earth's core. and pulling in that deep earth energy. Let it travel up into your being, traveling through your legs, through the base of your spine, upwardly through your body, filling you up with deep earth energy. Picture now a crystal clear shower of light that comes from the galactic center and travels into your crown and through your entire body. Feeling this downward descending current of cosmic energy light up all of the cells in your body. Feeling these energies of the cosmos and the earth blend and mix and merge. And then bring your awareness into your heart center. Feel the center as the center of the whole universe. Moving into higher dimensional spaces. There is no physicality at all. And that God consciousness, you could call it, exists within every single point. Here in this heart is where you can know that. We'll invite you to come to experience that. Picture your heart center as a great brilliant star. The star emits lights in all directions. Picture that you can get zoomed into detail and see every individual strand of light. There's truly an infinite amount of strands of light. Picture as many as you can focus upon. Feel these strands of light go out from your heart center to every other single person in the planet and to every other incarnate being in this galaxy and to all potential non-incarnated beings that exist within this multiverse, to beings within other galaxies and universes. Everything is connected through the heart center. You can interact with all who exist at all. Play a game now of zooming through all of these different connections that exist within you. Feeling, first of all, those strands of light that connect you with your parents and your early caregivers in life. Feel the energy flow between you and them. Feel how your hearts are connected. Feel how their energy taught you how to open or close your heart in different settings and situations. And zoom forward then in your life to perhaps your early classmates and teachers, family members, pets, imaginary friends, religious figures. See, all of these beings, perhaps in the room with you, each with their own thread of light, connected from their heart to your heart. Simply feel energy being reflected back. Notice that through each of these threads of light, they too have their own great star that connects on the other side in their heart. And now you can move in a non-linear fashion through your life, maybe bringing in the people you are closest to now and allowing your consciousness to fill in all of the gaps in between then and now. Letting all of these connections fill you up and see then where there is a connection, but you've chosen in some way to block it with judgment. As you bring all of these people in, recognize you're the same as them. Recognize you're made of the same energy. You're made of the same liquid love. And as you attune yourself to the beat of the heart, notice that each heart beats the same way. Notice by allowing yourself to open to compassion, your heart softens, and feel how that energy transference ripples out to all beings known and unknown, to all beings seen and unseen. Live with an open heart by recognizing that everyone is of the same source that you are. And whenever you feel this judgment coming up, return to this image, return to this remembrance of the interconnectedness of all things, of this vast web that connects you with every single being that exists within you in the center of your being. Use this web to dissolve the barriers. Use this web to remind yourself that your well-being is so interconnected with the well-being of all, and so is the well-being of every other being. So care for yourself and care for each other. That is how the universe will heal, grow, expand, evolve. We thank you for this co-creation, for receiving this transmission, and for being a part of our reality as well. It is a great gift to us, and we know it is a great gift for you. And we thank you and wish you a fabulous rest of your day then.
Welcome back, Dante. Thank you.
Thank you, Dante.
Oh yeah, thanks to you as well. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you, Dante, as always.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Amazing, man.
Yeah, you liked it?
Oh wow. Wow.
Fucking
Thank you
loved
so
it.
much. Yes.
Loved it.
Thanks
Yeah, it
for
felt
your
like a really good
counsel.
one today. Yeah. Wow. So a reminder, if anybody is really touched by this, and a way to express gratitude and support me in continuing to freely offer this is to donate. And on dantestarshine.com on the contact/book a session tab is all of the ways you can do that. So thanks and I appreciate so much. Channeling course and session reminder and blah, blah, blah. How's everybody feeling?
Good. Thank you
Great.
so much. So much
Yay.
appreciate it.
How are you feeling?
Good, light, fresh, excited. Life is so vibrant. I have the rest of my cacao here too. That'll help the heart as well.
Where are you now?
Istanbul. Turkey.
Istanbul. Ah, only shortly in Germany.
Yeah, I was only there for a week. I had my 90-day visa finished. Yeah. If you're not from the European Union, you only get 90 days in the Schengen zone.
Okay. So enjoy Istanbul. It's great there, I heard. I never been there, but I only heard great things.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so cool. Some of the people who are here early, as in on time, because I'm always late, was not always actually. It's kind of dependent on where I'm at. Like I was a little bit better in Europe where people are very like on time. But you know, anyway, I had a little tour. I was walking around. It's very bustling. It's a huge, huge, huge city. Yeah, and I met some nice people already, so I'm excited to start going out and about and seeing more because I've just been very tired after my travels, and I've been kind of resting and integrating. But a good friend comes in a couple of days, and we'll do the things together.
The things. I heard this one road, and I cannot remember the name, but it's full of musical instruments and stuff. You have to check it out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And how was you've been to a gay event or something in Berlin? How was it? You said it's also spiritual. How was it?
Oh, it was very juicy and hot.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the fetish pride fair.
Wow. That's why you looked so.
People being very weird, very, I don't know, all sorts of strange things going on. But also very beautiful people. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot.
Have you been to the Folsom Fair in San Francisco, Dante?
No, I haven't been in San Francisco, and I've heard how crazy it is, and I was kind of expecting that in Berlin, but it was not. I mean, I think in Berlin they are just as crazy, but in the dark. Yeah, but it was so amazing, and so many beautiful people there. Some nice connections too.
Yeah, great you experienced that. So that's a positive thing you experienced in Germany. That's good.
I love Berlin. It's amazing. I could easily live there. Yeah.
Great travel vlogs, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, you like them? Cool.
Yeah.
They don't get like a lot of views, so I'm like, I don't know. But I mean, I also make them for myself as a kind of way to remember, I guess. So I'll keep doing them.
Yeah, it's unique on its own.
Yeah. Ja.
Ja.
Ja, ist gut. Vielen Dank.
Now you got to teach us some German.
I know a couple words. Ich heiße Dante. Wie heißt du?
Ich heiße Christine.
Yeah. Danke. Bitte. You can add schön. Yeah. Schön's pretty or please, like nicely. Yeah. What else do I know? Einschreiben bitte. So Rickschreiben bitte. That's what it says on the subway in Berlin. Like, get on, get off.
Zurückbleiben bitte.
Yeah. So Rickschreiben bitte. Oh my God. And here in Turkey, I only know thank you, which is the word I try to learn everywhere. It's teşekkürler. It's kind of hard to say. You know, European languages are also similar. So I know a Latin language and like, you know, English, which is Germanic and Nordic and all sorts of things. So if I look at any words, like, it's like, it doesn't look too foreign to me. Like I can kind of make out at least one word anywhere in Europe. But here I just look at the words and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, does this even mean it all? It's I have no idea, literally no idea. but that makes it fun too. It's a lot more fun.
What's your plan in Turkey or in Istanbul?
Chilling,
Chilling.
chilling and seeing some places, and then there's Rainbow Gathering in the south of Turkey,
Mhm.
and I'll go there in about 2 weeks, and
Mhm.
then I will come back to Istanbul for a day or two, and then I will fly to Egypt. Oh my God.
Ooh.
And then I will go only for 6 days in Egypt. I will go to the south of India.
Ooh.
And then I will be doing the India thing. And a client offered to buy me a ticket and host me a bit in Australia. So then I'll go to Australia and then
Cool.
back to America.
Wow.
Potentially with some stops in between. I always traveled, but I traveled very slow. And then the situation a couple years ago halted all of that. And then looking back at my life, I was like, wow, that was really cool. Maybe I should do that, but a lot more intense than the way I did it before. And this is my year of giving that a go and seeing what happens.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah. Good
pretty
luck.
cool.
Good travels.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
It's going to be quite a shift, you returning to India.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, India was brutal last time, but this time it's like I had a lot of things that weren't working out for me. I was broke, I was sick, and I was kind of stupid and naive. So with all of those three things being out of the picture, I think it's going to be a different experience this time.
Mm.
Yeah, well, different energy, you know? It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be great.
A bit of your own Eat, Pray, Love. You should possibly write a travel book.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sifting through the book that I wrote about my journey that is ridiculously long. It's like, what was it? 250,000 words, which is crazy because that's like 70,000 words more than the Living Love guidebook, which if anyone has got that in paper, it's like you see how big this book is, and this is like channeled work and different, and something that you can you don't have to read in a linear way. So like a textbook of my traveling and musings on life is a little bit too much. So I'm just reading through it to get a sense of what's there. And I finished it over a year ago, and a lot of it has to be chopped out. So that's one thing that I might be doing over the next couple of weeks. Maybe if I find like a better battery pack that actually works for computers, I don't know if something like that exists, but a big battery, it does exist. I don't know where I can find something like that here though. Could even do it at the Rainbow Gathering, but I don't really want to be at the computer at the Rainbow Gathering. Anyway, I'm starting to sift through that. So that book is eventually going to be released. That is all of the traveling journey and learnings from that, like a memoir of sorts. So, but I really need to edit it because I just let myself completely go in the process of writing it and made way, way too much.
I crack up sometimes at your posts and how long they are. You do have a lot of words, but I often find I don't know, I enjoy reading all of the words. So I imagine it would be hard to edit it out.
It's possible because I read back through some of it, and some of them are just like stories that it's nice that I wrote for me to remember, but it's not necessarily I don't know why people would want to read it. But then other things are that's really engaging content. So it's I'm gonna try and cut out I would say like 40% of it, to be honest, but we'll see what happens as I get there. I'm trying to get better at being more concise. But I'm glad that you like it.
It's enjoyable. It might do well as an audiobook.
Oh, potentially. That means I'd have to read it aloud too.
For the first time, you're reading your own thoughts. Oh my God, what have I written? Oh my God.
Well,
I think
better you being the reader than, you know, those, you
I
guys saw the whole,
started editing this aloud. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
oh, well, better you being the voice on the audio than, you know, the usual TikTok type of, here's Dante talking. You know,
Oh god.
the robot voice that they use nowadays.
I don't see these as much anymore, but there used to be a lot of channelings on YouTube that the Arcturian Council and other councils, but they were spoken in this robotic voice because they just went through like, you know, whatever AI like read the text aloud, and then they turned it into a video with like pictures of galaxies and stuff. Has anyone ever watched those? Because
No!
it's like sometimes the messages are great, but it's like it's so funny to like hear the channeled message in like the robot voice. We are ascending in love and light. Everything is not like okay.
Wow.
It's very funny.
Yeah, the genuine tonality, once we send it, it makes the whole difference, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, my friends, anyone have any other exciting messages to share?
Anyone had some shadow work recently? Like the last 2-3 weeks were kind of huge.
Yeah, don't tell me. Well,
Mercury retrograde.
That's what it was. Damn you, Mercury.
6 planets are retrograde right now, though, so you can't blame any of the planets. It's like they're chilling, they're doing their thing, they're just making things more intense. What's more intense is the Mars retrograde that's going to begin at the end of the year, but it already enters its shadow phase now. So Mars retrograde is pretty brutal. It's I think it's because it's only so often. It's like every 2.5 years, and Mars is a planet of aggression. So it's like it's that sneaky thing in the background, like, hi guys, I'm here again.
Wow. Well, all catalysts for growth at this point, but man, is it intense at times.
Yeah, indeed, it is.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah. Yeah, we got this. But it's intense.
It is intense. It's definitely intense. Though, I mean, I'm here now in what's basically like the Middle East, you know? And I've got to say, like, there's some reminders here of how far the world has come, just seeing like these very icky things of misogyny and like being like, oh, well, I want to kiss this person, but I can't do it right now because there's other people around, or just feeling the way that people interact being so like aggressive, but for no reason. It's like, the world's come a long way at the same time, and we're coming a long way.
It's all going to balance out energetically.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. We're here to be the change.
Yeah, I guess we need this community too. I mean, we are not with each other and we don't know each other. And for me, actually, it's hard sometimes. And Dante, I know for you too. And Josh, I hear for you too. So just let's remember we are not alone.
Yeah, we're here together. We're in this together. It's beautiful to have a community and to reflect that love. And even though, you know, I think for me, it's like the more that I've done things like this and the ceremonies I do, the more that I can just open to love with people so quickly, because it's not even personal. It's like, it's this universal energy that wants to express between open hearts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and it grows and grows. The more we express it with each other, the more we feel safe to surrender to it. So
Yeah,
that's why community is so important.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Josh, that you mentioned this. I usually, I mean, I talk about this with the Pleiadian Council, and of course, it's public. But yeah, just to share how we feel sometimes. It's not always easy peasy, and still, here we are.
Here we are doing it.
Yeah, constant practice, you know, it all kind of grows as we do it. And that's the coolest thing I've learned from all this. It's like just being open about it, doing the best that we can, practicing, and just having fun testing it out.
Mm. Well, even though there's so many people here, I do feel I'm hungry and I need to move and integrate myself. But I thank you again for joining. Thank you for being a part of this. And I wish you a really fabulous day. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week for exploring the throat chakra. And just a reminder that, yeah, please let other friends and people know about this. If you know people who are attuned to these kinds of energies and this information, it's the most natural way for this to spread is through word of mouth, especially now that, I don't know, I think the algorithms, or I don't know what it is, but basically it's not the same as it was before, and the reach doesn't work, the ads don't work, the blah 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 doesn't work on especially Facebook. But I'm still trying it nonetheless to let this very valuable information reach new people, and I really love the support in doing that. So thanks again. And I send my love and hugs and blessings, and we'll see you soon.
Bye bye, Dante. Thanks. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's kick it up a notch.
Blessings. Blessings to
Yeah.
all of us.
Thank you. Yes. Have a great day.